Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin miners are accumulating a massive amount of Bitcoin while we're seeing bullish signals on the larger timeframes. But here on the smaller timeframes, we are starting to see some bearish signals form. And just before we get into it, I would appreciate it if you could just leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame, and over the past few days Bitcoin on this chart has formed a higher high in the price action, but we've been forming some lower highs in the Bitcoin RSI. So that is of course known as a bearish divergence, and if you're looking in the 4-hour MACD, this is starting to trend to the downside. So these signals on the Bitcoin chart are signs of weakness in the current shorter term uptrend here on the 4-hour time frame. So because of that, we could possibly be in for a short-term cool-off of some sort, either a sideways consolidation or a slight pullback. But remember, this is still only in the shorter term, and if you're looking on the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, the parabolic stop and reverse indicator also backs this up, because we have just flipped bearish again in the 12-hour parabolic stop and reverse indicator. Now on the larger time frames, that is a different story, which I will be talking about later in the video. But as I just said, this is more talking about the shorter term for Bitcoin. And on top of that, when you're looking in the 12-hour MACD, we are potentially getting really close to another bearish cross here. And if you're looking at the last two times where we saw a bearish cross in the 12-hour MACD, that was right at these 2 points. And if you're looking at the corresponding price action, that was right here and right here. Now, it is important to mention that obviously we have not seen the bearish cross in the 12-hour MACD just yet. So just keep in mind, we still need to see the bearish cross, and we also need to see a 12-hour candle close to confirm that bearish cross. And when you're looking in the VPVR indicator, which shows us the traded volume for Bitcoin in certain price ranges. And so if we have a significant cluster of volume below the Bitcoin price, that would be acting as support. But if we have a significant cluster of volume above the Bitcoin price, then that would technically be acting as resistance. And what we have right here is a substantial cluster of volume above the Bitcoin price, coming in between 46,000 and around 49,000. So basically in that price range that I just mentioned should be technically a decent amount of resistance for Bitcoin. And we already have been finding some short-term resistance close to 46,000. So after seeing some of these shorter term Bitcoin signals, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a bit of bearish price action in the shorter term, or at the very least, like I said earlier, some sort of sideways consolidation. But with that being said, when you're looking at what the Bitcoin miners are doing, they are accumulating a massive amount of Bitcoin even to this day. And the last time we saw a substantial jump in the Bitcoin miner reserve, similar to this recent time just here, was all the way back at the end of January, leading into the beginning of February 2021. And if you're looking at the Bitcoin price during that time period, first of all, leading into that spike in the Bitcoin miner reserve, we saw a decent correction in the Bitcoin price. And then not long after the Bitcoin miners began accumulating a lot more Bitcoin, we saw a massive move to the upside in the Bitcoin price that took us from around 30,000 US dollars up towards around 57,000 before we saw our next correction. So when you're talking about the midterm and the midterm trend for Bitcoin, this is obviously a bullish sign for Bitcoin. But when you're looking on the daily time frame for Bitcoin at our Fibonacci levels on the logarithmic settings, we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level coming in just underneath 44,000. So currently the Bitcoin price is fighting to stay above that importance level, and if we do end up seeing a further break below the 38.2% Fibonacci level, then in that case we could be due for a bit of a short-term correction, like I said earlier in the video. But I want to make it clear that this certainly does not take away from what's happening on the larger time frames, like the 3-day charts. For example, we have officially seen a bullish cross in the 3-day MACD. So on the bigger picture here, on the bigger time frames, this is technically more of a bullish signal for Bitcoin, because if you're simply taking a look at the last time this has happened, when the MACD was in negative territory, this was at the end of July, leading into the massive pump to the upside. And even after we saw the September correction, that still didn't change the fact that we remained in an uptrend this entire time. So just keep in mind, when I'm talking about a possible short-term cool-off for Bitcoin, that can indeed happen during the middle of a longer-term uptrend, for example. And also, don't forget about the breakout that we've seen in the 3-day Bitcoin RSI, which is obviously still a bullish signal on the bigger picture here. And if you're looking at where the RSI is, we still technically have a very long way to go before the 3-day RSI starts entering into overbought territories. And once again, if you simply take a look at these previous examples that we've got on the chart, where we've seen a breakout in the 3-day RSI for Bitcoin, they were both very bullish for the RSI and of course the Bitcoin price over the next few weeks and potentially over the next few months, like what we saw in between July and November last year. If you got anything of value out of this video, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates that I post every single day. And also for anyone that is new to the channel, before you click off, you might as well check out one of these uploads that are popping up right here, because these two videos can potentially help you make more money in the crypto market, whether or not prices are going up or down. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.